Welcome back to the Getting Started with IgorBox series. In our last video, we showed you everything you need to know about creating your account, as well as linking your Discord. And in this video, we're going to go into IgorBox Studio creation and the overview basics of the IgorBox Studio settings. So we're here on our account at account.igorbox.com, and you can see it says to create your IgorBox Studio. Scroll down, and we're going to create a new studio. You can name this whatever, as long as it's available. We're going to call this Frank's Lab. And we'll put it at Frank's Lab, frankslab.igorbox.studio right there. It's important to note that once you create this URL, you cannot change it without contacting support. So, choose wisely. It's going to create a database for you. It's going to create an uplink for you. And now we are at frankslab.igorbox.studio. You can bookmark this to get back here if you need to, or if you are on your account page, it will show up in your studios section here with a link that'll take you to it. So once you're here, you'll see that we have welcome to Frank's Lab. You can see we're at Frank's Lab Studio here. We have 0 controllers. We have no shows. We have no logic rules. We have 1 team member. We're on a free tier. And there are no controller events because there are no controllers. Our activity feed shows that we just created it within our audit log. Down here is our latest news and updates. This is driven by help.igorbox.com/blog, where we keep all of the news, information, everything about what's going on, announcements, as well as the change log of new firmware updates and new website changes. So it's a great resource right there on the main page, and then some resources down here. In this video, we're going to talk about the studio settings. So when you create the studio, you'll see that you are an owner of this studio, and when you're on this page, you'll see you're an owner. An owner is the only person that can actually change the name of the studio from the account page. So that's the only special thing an owner has. Owners and admins are the same, except owners can change the name. When you first come to the page, you'll see that there's a general tab here you're on. You can upload an avatar for your studio, which will pop up over here, as well as you can give us your billing and email address so we can send billing information to that, tax ID number, street address. So if you have like a haunted house or escape room or something and the studio is dedicated to that, you can put that in here. On the next page is the billing page, the billing tab. You can see our current plan is the free plan. Everybody has a free plan. You can start a free trial of your pro account by clicking this button, or you can choose to subscribe to the builder or to the pro account directly from here. There is a plan comparison right here on the page. You don't have to go back to igorbox.com/studio to see it. This will show you everything about each individual tier, what you're getting. So if you want to add more team members, you need to be on a builder tier or above. If you want to add more devices, you need more storage space, show revisions, etc. So that's on the billing tab, which is what you would do here. If you scroll down, you'll see that there's a section that says promo code. We occasionally give out promo codes for pro accounts, builder accounts, etc. for you to try. Aside from the 30-day free trial here, we'll give out promo codes for multiple months of pro, etc. You would enter that right here and it would apply to your account. All right, let's move on to the next tab, which is the Wi-Fi Credentials tab here. And this is a cool feature that we added with Magic Provisioning, and we'll talk about Magic Provisioning in a later video. But if you're using Magic Provisioning, you can magically provision your Wi-Fi credentials onto your box using this as well. So all of our Igor boxes have Ethernet and Wi-Fi, and we obviously recommend using Ethernet whenever possible. But sometimes you need to use Wi-Fi, or Wi-Fi is the better option. You can add your Wi-Fi credentials to the box in multiple different ways. We have it well documented on our help pages, which you can always get to here. But this is by far the easiest, fastest, and cleanest way of doing it. you're going to add Wi-Fi credentials to your studio. So we're going to just call this main building, and we're going to name it. This is our network name that we have at the main building. And we're going to give it password, and it's going to set it as default because it's the only one we have. No thanks. So now we have our Wi-Fi credentials here. We can add more. We can add another Wi-Fi credential, and it won't be default, or we can set it as default. But the important part here is that we have this set up before we provision any controllers. And I'll show you why later in the magic provisioning section, but basically what's going to happen is when your controller comes online for the first time using magic provisioning, it's going to get these Wi-Fi credentials and also store it on there. You can see that your Wi-Fi credentials are encrypted. They are encrypted in the database. The only way to decrypt them is to use a controller provisioning, the controller provisioning service, which is provided by IgorBox for the magic provisioning system. So the controllers are actually getting the encrypted version of your Wi-Fi credentials and then decrypting it. So it's actually not possible for us to decrypt the credentials, even the support team to decrypt the credentials from the web itself or a database dump. So they're super secure in our database. And if you add more, you can add as many as you need here. You can also choose when you add a controller, and again, we'll show you this later, when you add a controller, which Wi-Fi credentials you want it to use for magic provisioning. And even if you don't plan on using Wi-Fi in your normal day-to-day operations, you plan on using Ethernet, you should still set this up. This is my suggestion, my recommendation, because if the Ethernet network goes down, the controller will automatically try to use Wi-Fi. And so you can use Wi-Fi as a backup to your Ethernet connections, as it'll seamlessly go between the two. So it's a good backup. The next tab is a security tab. This tab probably 99.9% of people are not going to need or use, but we do provide the ability to whitelist IP addresses to your studio. Some of the bigger enterprises out there, this is IgorBox Studio is a web application out on the cloud, right? And it is of course authenticated and authorized, but sometimes you don't even want people to even be able to connect to it to try to log in. And so you can use IP whitelisting. This is going to rely on you having static IP addresses on your outbound side. Like I said, 99.9% of people aren't going to need this. Be very careful with this because you can lock yourself out of your own studio if you set this wrong. If that does happen, just email help@igorbox.com, where we'll be happy to help get it fixed for you. Moving on, we have the member section. Right now we're in a free account, so we can't actually invite any members, but this is where you would manage your members and the member roles, etc. In a moment here, we'll swap this account to a pro account so that we can add somebody else to the account. But lastly, I just want to, before we do that, let's cover the audit log. And the audit log is going to be everything that has happened to your account. So you can see that this was your organization was created, right? So your studio was created here by this person, me, IgorBox Fritz. We added a credential for Wi-Fi. I actually deleted that credential, and then I added it again. And all the timestamps are here, who did it, when it happened, etc. You can always filter down your actions, you can filter down your types, and you can do searches in here. So real quick, I'm going to swap I'm going to swap Frank's Lab over to a pro account so I can show you the members section. All right, we're back, and you can see that Frank's Lab now is a pro tier account. And in the audit log, you can see that Mike at risingorchards.com, which is me, has manually overridden the tier. So not like, and the point of me showing you this right here is that every action that happens to your studio is logged in the audit log, even support actions. So if you reach out to support and support help, somebody on the support team helps you out, that information is also going to be logged here in the audit and who did that, right? All right, so let's go to members. And we're going to go to invitations. Now, I'm going to invite another user at Gmail. And you'll see that there are 3 roles: admin, editor, and viewer. The one mental model I want to give you here is that the difference between an admin and an editor, aside from having the ability to do studio settings, is that an admin has the power to do actions that can take a controller offline for a period of time, and an editor cannot. An example of that is firmware updates. So over-the-air firmware upgrades can take a controller offline for 1 minute to 5 minutes. Editors cannot do firmware upgrades because they could take the controller offline for a period of time. That is an admin-only task, right? So that's sort of the main difference between an editor and an admin. So we're going to send this invite to IgorBox demo at Gmail. And what this is going to do is it's going to add them to the invites to IgorBox.com, which will allow them to log in. So this is sending an invite to IgorBox.com automatically, but it's also inviting them to your studio. They will get an email, their email, as well as you have a link here you can copy, give it to them in a messenger or whatever. I'm just going to use the copied email here. I'm going to switch over to the IgorBox demo account, which is Fabio Frankenstein, the better looking brother. And you can see Fabio's already a member of the lab.igorbox studio, but he got an invite to Frank's lab. So here is the invitation. It says your role will be editor. You can accept or decline. We're going to accept that. And now Fabio is a member of Frank's lab. And we can go back over here to the studio members, hit refresh, and now you'll see that Fabio is an editor. Let's go back to the audit log, and you'll see that the invitation was created by IgorBox Fritz and was accepted by IgorBoxDemo@gmail.com. If we go back to Fabio's account, you'll see Fabio has the same thing here, but if Fabio tries to go to studio settings as an editor, they can only see, but they can't edit any of these general settings, and they can only see who are members, and they can't invite new members or make any changes. If we come back over to Fritz over here, we can also see, if we go back to members, we can hit edit and we can change the role. We can upgrade them to admin, or we can drop them down to viewer if we need to. So that is the basics of the IgorBox studio creation, management, and studio settings. In the next video, we're going to add a new controller to our account and take a look at some of the controller actions and controller management stuff. A really sort of deep dive into what you can do with the controller management side. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.